Welcome to Hers,
His, and
Ours,
part of the Scheist Podcast Network.
Hey everybody! Welcome to a special crossover edition of This Week on the Couch and This Week at the Movies, right here on Hers, His, and Ours. If you're in it for the movies, we didn't see that many. It was only The Ballad of Wallis Island and Sinners, but both two good ones. But when it comes to TV shows, we finished the PITT. We are caught up on Dr. Odyssey, and we're running the Save Dr. Odyssey campaign. And getting a little deeper in White Lotus, and then Christen takes us on a tour of the 911 drama. So welcome to This Week on the Couch.
We're back.
We're back. We didn't go anywhere, but
We've been on the couch, but I have to say, this week was really weird not having the PITT to watch.
it was, but we finished the PITT, so that's...
Sad.
It's sad, but, it needed to end. I'm glad that it ended because I didn't want to be in that every week. I needed a break. I think they know. They're like, we're not going to do too many episodes. And then it did get picked up for season 2, though.
It did. It'll come back in January.
It's not going to be the season 2 that I want to see, but...
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well, I just wanted to see, the night crew. Let me see the second half of that day.
I feel like the season should have been longer, and then the second half of the season should have been the night shift.
Yeah.
Do a full
24,
28 season episode season, like the good old days. And then have the second half of the season be the night shift. And then still come back in January.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
It's a worthwhile show. I understand why it was as popular to be talked about, but it is interesting to see the shift, at least in terms of social media narrative, pivoting from TV back to movies over the last 2 weeks, because before that it was, White Lotus, Adolescence, the PITT. TV was dominating sort of the media conversation, and good wins for TV, honestly. But now the pendulum has sort of swung back now that a lot of those shows are over.
Well, and we're getting some better quality movies, but my social media is still clogged with 911 posts.
All right, well, talk about 911, because that's a show that you watch by yourself. I occasionally will pop in
eavesdrop.
Yeah, I'll call it eavesdropping, where I
Okay.
look and I see what's going on. I remember one where a guy got trapped inside a escalator.
Yeah, it was at Fashion Square.
Oh, see, look at that.
I remember that?
Yeah, the mall right by us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've watched 911 since the beginning. It's a great cast. Love Angela Bassett and Peter Krause, of course, as well as the rest of the supporting cast. But yeah, this week was really rough. It was really, really rough. And I unfortunately had seen a mini spoiler. So I had a little bit of preparedness, but I was like, I'm hoping this is not true. And I still ugly cried for this episode, but it's still what my entire threads and even some Instagram newsfeed is being clogged with. Everyone is very upset. It's very much like how everyone was talking about the PITT. So yeah, I don't know how much to disclose because the episode just aired, but I'm assuming most people have already watched it. But they killed off a beloved main character. And, I'm always angry when they do that, especially when I feel like there's no reason for it and it kind of comes out of nowhere. But I did Google and try and read some articles and figure out why this happened and what was the motive behind it. And it was supposedly a creative decision because he's also executive producer on the show. So I'll be interested to see when it comes back if he's still listed as EP and gets to continue that. But I did read that there is some flashback scenes that will happen through the next 3 episodes that take us to the end of the season that we will see him in, which is at least a little comforting, but I'm still just angry. But the manner in which he died was awful and also fitting for like him being the captain of this station, and he sacrificed himself to save his team.
So much for that spoiler warning, huh?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. But
I mean,
again,
it's been
we're 3 days out.
yeah.
People have watched it by now.
Yeah, and let's face facts. I think a lot of people that listen to this
Probably don't care.
either don't care or don't watch it.
Okay. Then we're fine. I don't care.
Yeah. Otherwise, apologies in advance. How long has 911 been on the air now? Because I feel like you've been watching it for a while.
Yes, this is season 8. And the interesting thing, I think the reason why I was so shocked when I heard about the spoiler first was they had announced that the show got renewed a week or two ago before anything came up about this episode. And honestly, I didn't watch it the night it aired because I usually wait till the next day and watch it without commercials.
Yeah.
And it was only spoiled for me because I follow a bunch of the actors on social media. So they were all posting like tribute posts to him. And then my mom was like, "Did you watch 911 yet? I got a spoiler news alert." And I'm like, "Don't say it. Don't talk about it. Let me watch it first, you know." So the news alerts were coming out, and then it was all over Facebook and Instagram at that point with all the TV news, like social media accounts. So this is season 8 and it's already been renewed. So I'm like, how do you come back without him? I mean, they're going to do it obviously, but it just was kind of shocking that we find out the show is picked up for another season, but yet they're still killing off the actual main character. And he's the heart of the show really too. But
Somebody had to die to make this show more serious.
I feel like I did read an article that they had interviewed the show creator on, and he said, you know, they wanted to make it a little more realistic in that they do all these big stunts and all these big storylines, and everyone, like, sometimes people get hurt and injured, but everyone just lives. And the truth of the matter is a lot of the time our first responders don't live through these kinds of scenarios. So I respect that from a creative side, but I'm just still very bitter. And he's getting a lot of hate on social media as well for this, which I don't support. It's still an art, but it's Peter Krause. You can't kill him off, but they did.
They did. He's gone. He's done.
He is. Well, at least for next season, he'll be gone. So I'll be curious if he still executive produces next year.
Yeah. Maybe he'll direct and do some of that stuff, but
Yeah.
oh well. But we'll jump from one emergency show to the other as we're caught up. I mean, we're caught up basically every week with Dr. Odyssey. I'd love to call Podyssey. It's Podyssey time. My goal is to save Dr. Odyssey from the chopping block. It was the only ABC show that did not get picked up yet. But that's not a good sign because they had their like announcements of all the shows that are coming back and getting renewed, and this wasn't one of them.
True, but 911 is a good example of 911 actually got canceled. It was originally a Fox show.
Yeah.
And then ABC picked it up and kept it going. And it was a very seamless transition. You didn't even really know unless you paid attention to the channel you were watching it on. So it's possible, but I don't know how probable it is at this point.
Yeah, well, there's a main storyline that kind of goes on for several episodes of Dr. Odyssey, and it's kind of like a mystery, but not a whodunit. You're just waiting to see what happens with that, and maybe because of the lack of renewal, the option that was chosen kind of put that mystery to bed. And then in the most recent episode, well, I should say after not this most recent one, but the one before where we talked about it, I sort of said that I feel like Philippa Sue is the lead of the show, even though
Absolutely.
she's not technically. Um, I felt that she was like the center and the core of the show. And then because of the impending possible cancellation, it feels like the show is trying to like parachute maybe. And so that's why the mystery storyline came to an end. And then with this episode, like all of the three main characters kind of got their own story angles separate from each other when the entire show to this point has been about the three of them together. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they are really testing the waters to see what thread to follow. And we get Josh Jackson leaving the boat entirely to go see his identical twin brother. Like, you don't even have to have him have a twin. He could just have a brother.
Yay for double Josh
But
Jackson,
they're
like
like,
double Michael B. Jordan.
right? So if it's not Dr. Odyssey anymore, or there becomes another show where he's just a resident doctor at this hospital that he's interviewing, and we get double Josh Jackson in the show where it's like he's Uncle Dilf instead of Dr. Dilf. Maybe that's a story. Like, can that exist as just a medical drama by itself? Maybe, but
I don't know about that because there's so many medical dramas, but what I could see happening, especially if a different network picks it up, is that they flash forward time. Like they fast forward, maybe Avery's done with medical school and now she's Dr. Odyssey.
yeah, that's what I said.
And I still think we see a Joshua Jackson and Tristan. I can't remember his real name. I still think we maybe see them intertwined, but maybe they're not always on the boat at the same time together.
Yeah, the like summer crew of Dr. Odyssey.
Yeah, like maybe it's seasonal or something instead of like they're just always on the cruise ship and it's a different theme each week. Maybe it's like they cruise for the summer and then they get off and go back to their individual lives or something like that, because then Joshua Jackson can still do that hospital residency and maybe just take some time off to go back on the ship. I don't know. I feel like they have the way that they've set this up now with seeing like the individual storylines, they actually have a lot more open doors to spin this. So I hope that it gets picked up or another station picks it up or even put it straight to Hulu streaming. Like don't worry about just ABC Network, you know.
That's what I said. For like just take the handcuffs off and let this show be the horny love boat show that it wants to be. And like, say there was no love angle interest at all for Josh Jackson, and like week to week he's just slanging and banging, and then he's also super doctor, right? Like that could be fun. It might not have that much longevity, but that's kind of the show that they were making, at least for a while on the show. And then it gets a little bit more serious and it recalibrates and finds its footing as a show where those three characters are all sort of like the co-leads to some degree.
Yeah.
Sean Teal plays Tristan.
Thank you.
And what we have now is, like I said, what if the show becomes like Avery is Dr. Odyssey? That doesn't leave room for Max. The ship only has one doctor. So maybe he does stay at the hospital and they kind of write him off that way and it becomes her show, which I wouldn't be opposed to. She's good in the role. And then, like, do you keep Tristan on at that point, or you get him out of there, make it her show, and then bring in other nurses to supplement that, but keep Don Johnson and the rest of the crew?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like Joshua Jackson has to stay involved somehow because that's what they use to sell the show. Like I'm all for team Philippa Sue for sure being like the Dr. Odyssey. But it would be kind of interesting cuz they're still kind of playing with their love like relationship status. It would be kind of interesting if we see both worlds a little bit. Like we were talking about him doing the hospital stuff, her on the boat, but then they both be on the boat. Because let's face it, we've seen so many scenarios where they need more than one doctor. Like the fact that it's only one doctor with a couple other like nurse practitioner type aides, like, doesn't make sense for a ship that large when there's emergencies, right? Like, it would make sense to have more than one doctor.
Well, they can only handle like only a couple of emergencies per episode, so
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, it wouldn't be out of the realm of staffing needs to have more than one doctor. But I don't know. I feel like maybe they still communicate or like case consult or something, or I don't know. I wouldn't want to see Joshua Jackson gone completely because I think their chemistry is so good. And I've been team, Joshua Jackson for her since the beginning and not Tristan because he's so wishy-washy and
yeah, she
flip-flops.
deserves better than both of them.
She does, of course, but like these are the two they put in front of her.
I'm just Team Avery. Forget these two. But if they want to be like douchey bros that like they just can't get their shit together, but they're still all friends, and she cares about them like in a platonic way and sometimes bangs them, like that's okay too. The show can be that without having to thread the needle that we see in so many other shows where it's like, oh, well, because they're romantically interested, it has to be that line that we follow. It's like, no, it's okay for them to like not end up together and not pursue that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, I think.
Avery's smart enough and has enough agency where I think she knows that even though she has feelings for both of them, that they're both immature. Like, she's way more mature than either of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if she can do like medical school and then do like her residency on the ship or something with him, or I don't know. I mean, let's face it, I don't know that the fate looks that good, unfortunately, because I still haven't heard anything about it, but stranger things have happened. Like, I'm surprised no one else picked up Blue Bloods at this point still because the hate around that show getting canceled has been out of control.
It became a staple of TV. Just like, imagine like you just canceled like Law and Order.
Yeah,
you know, people would freak out.
Yeah, you don't
Sorry,
do that.
Mariska Hargitay, you're doing this until you fucking die.
I think she loves it, though. I mean,
I know
it's
she
steady
does,
and consistent,
yeah.
but they just did a crossover with Law and Order, so I had to watch the other the original return of the Law and Order, and I was like, oh, Maura Tierney's on this. Like, I didn't know she was on this. And then what's his name from the Big C? That was the doctor. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was like, oh, this is actually a good cast. Like, I don't know when this changed, but I mean, stranger things have happened in television. I'm rooting for them. I'm just not very optimistic, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, my ideal season 2 would have been something that just like I don't think network TV would do, and just they're a throuple, and it's awkward, but it works for them, and she's pregnant, and she either doesn't go to medical school and keeps the baby and stays on the boat, and they all just like try to live a happy throuple life together, which given just like the confines of being on the boat and everything, I think make it interesting. Maybe not great. Like, I don't think the show is exceptional, but
it's fun.
It is fun. And I think the show knows that it's not trying to be like super highbrow or overly dramatic. It knows exactly what it's doing, right? They're like, we need to have like a gnarly surgery and a weird medical mystery. We need scantily clad men and women on the boat. We're gonna push like the sub story along, inch it along each episode. Because like there was a random one where it was just Tristan's an alcoholic now, and I was like, what? It's like, I mean, I get that maybe he's been having this, but like you haven't mentioned this once throughout the entire show. And now he's in AA.
No, they didn't say the alcoholic component part of it, but they have talked about, or he's talked about how, all he does is like drink every day because they're on a ship. So they've talked about it, but not to the point of like that level. And they had just that episode. But honestly, I feel like the episode where they do that paternity test and we find out that she wasn't pregnant was one of the most heartbreaking episodes on television in general, but especially for this show to like push the emotional boundary. And I was proud of them for doing it versus like backing off like they've done on some of the like PTSD stuff with Joshua Jackson and COVID and the hospital and everything.
Well, they're not going to top the PITT now.
Well, no.
So they should probably just stay away from that. But even in that episode, they use some techniques where all of a sudden it's just like a flashback to they're all kids having this conversation. And I'm like, I didn't like that because, like, I understand what they're going for. Like, imagine if we all knew each other when we were younger, kind of thing. Like, yeah, cool. But at the same time, like, we don't. And you guys don't. So you can have this conversation as adults. And it just felt like in that moment where the show got like as serious and as heartfelt as possible, it took us on like a weird side journey. Like you don't have like, I didn't need to see these conversations happening between the three of them that like didn't know each other and like speculating about what would have happened had they had this conversation in the hot tub on the Odyssey, 30 years prior. So it's just kind of like an odd choice. And then they did the same thing with the captain where he's in the hot tub because he's got shingles, and then he like flashes back to meeting his first wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, this is such like a weird choice, and I don't know.
I
don't
think,
know why.
excuse me. I think it was the only way that they could. I mean, I still felt it was weird in the moment, but in hindsight, when they're talking about the past storylines or like their past kind of like origin story, so to speak, that was kind of the only way for them to reveal that without taking another episode to just have each one of them tell a story individually. So they kind of like made this like makeshift, like we're just talking about this as kids, and then the captain's talking about it in the younger years, kind of a thing. So we understood more of why the captain was having anxiety and what he felt his shortcomings were, and we understood Avery, Tristan, and Max where they were coming from and what they were hoping for, like the next steps would be. But they kind of had to throw them all together and pretend like they were having this conversation 30 years prior on the boat. But otherwise, they would have had to do like a completely separate episode to tell all of these individual stories if they didn't do it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what they were going for. I just, as a creative decision, it didn't necessarily work that well for me because it's like these are the characters that I have been attached to. The actors are the ones that I'm attached to. You haven't taken any time to establish that there's going to be a younger version of them. Like for example, with This Is Us, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see the younger versions of them, so you establish those bonds and you build those attachments to all of the iterations of the characters' ages throughout the course of watching the show, where that just doesn't happen in this one.
Yeah.
So
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
It was weird. I'm not saying it wasn't
Okay.
weird, but I wasn't as bothered by it because I kind of understood why they had to, why they were trying to intertwine it. But yeah, I wanted to see, I liked the actors better than like the random younger versions of them.
Yeah, and I will say nonetheless, still save Dr. Odyssey. That's what we're here for.
Yes. How many times should I rewatch it from the beginning and see if the streaming helps?
Fall asleep to that instead of Friends every night and see if it makes a difference.
Okay.
You're like, oh wow, somebody really loves this. Oh, it's all the same IP address though. I don't know that counts.
I mean, seriously, if I used to say this, what was it? The Nielsen ratings?
Yeah.
I wish they had monitored my like cable box at the time or like my subscription streamers because no show would get canceled if they were monitoring my watching.
So, yeah. This I mean if you're hearing this and you haven't watched Dr. Odyssey and a big sort of like orgy boat with a throuple like sounds fun, but it's for network TV, so it's not really like as
Too risque.
yeah. But I mean, for even for the show to have like a threesome in general on the show was like
It's big.
it is. And because I was like, is this show really gonna do this? And I was like, oh, they're gonna do it. So as soon as they committed to being that show, I'm like, let's go full force and be that show because no other show that I know of is doing that. So
Especially ABC, that's really a
yeah,
Disney product.
ABC Family.
Yeah. I would
We're just
say
a big happy family.
yeah, I would say if you just need something that's like a good palate cleanser, feel good, decompression TV show, put on Dr. Odyssey.
And the character who got her foot smashed in the recent episode who works in the engine
Rosie.
room, Rosie, she referred to him as Big Daddy Max in the most recent episode.
That's
And I
right.
was like, she knows.
She knows.
She knows he's Big Daddy
I
Max.
mean, if you want that gray sweat pants close up of Joshua Jackson slow-mo running.
Seriously, this show.
They know what they've got.
Yeah, they do. They know exactly what they are. I think they're like a little afraid to be as out there though. But there is like the gray sweatpants dangle when he's jogging in the morning, and it's just flopping about while he's
Their
out for his
shirts are
morning
off
run.
all the time. It's funny. I was watching a video of one of the. I think it was either Rosie or another character, but someone that's one of the younger characters on the show had saved a TV guide cover with the Dawson's Creek cast on it that
Wow.
Joshua Jackson had signed, that they had one, or maybe it was a magazine cover of just Joshua Jackson. I can't remember, but they like presented it to him while filming one day, and he was like busting out and laughing in tears. And I was like, see, this is the audience.
Yeah.
You're also filming with them on your show.
He is a lot older than a lot of the cast members, so
Yeah.
It's fair. He's not that much older than us though, so I don't want to like speak ill of him. But,
No. It's Joshua Jackson.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, we got a little bit deeper into White Lotus as well. And, we're approaching, I think, the desired runtime for our little discussion here, but we're only maybe like 3 episodes in, 4.
I think we're on 4 now.
Yeah. I mean, are you liking it right now?
I know like there's a bunch of stuff coming. I don't know what that stuff is, but I know it's going to ramp up. I'm not loving it, to be honest. I'm not feeling as hooked as the previous sessions had me very early on. I think that I feel like there's a lot of filler episodes already, and we're only on episode 4.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously like building towards something bigger that we don't really know yet. So I'll be curious to see where it goes. But you had mentioned that you saw Patrick Schwarzenegger, and I was like, you're like, I don't think he looks like his dad, right? This is young Arnold Schwarzenegger. Does that change your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does.
Yeah, he looks a lot like his dad. It's not quite the same like jaw and mouth, but like the top of the head and the eyes, he looks a lot like his dad.
Yeah, I'm actually more intrigued by the Leslie Bibb, Michelle. Is it Michelle? Yeah.
Monaghan, yeah.
Monaghan. And what's the third?
Carrie Coon.
Carrie Coon's like girls trip storyline. I kind of want more of them. I'm not loving the Patrick Schwarzenegger family, which
shitty rich family.
Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to love them, obviously. Yeah. I'm just kind of bored by it. And
Bro, you gotta like Protein Max.
Yeah, the Walter, was it Walter?
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins and his like partner. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the previous seasons I was hooked much faster, and I'm just feeling like I said, these feel like too many filler episodes. And I know, like I said, I know we're building to like the big thing that happens that we see in episode 1, but at this point, and it's only been like 3 episodes we've watched all the way through, I'm kind of forgetting already what was that big event that was happening. Like I know someone dies, but I just feel so far removed because there's so much filler storyline. Yeah, and maybe it's because Jennifer Coolidge isn't on this season too.
Yeah, I think they're looking at least early on. The earlier seasons had sort of operated in a similar way, but like season 1 was different than 2, and so 3 is different than either of those, and we're getting some connective tissue. But yeah, I'll be curious to see where this ends up going.
I mean, I'm still curious and I want to keep going, obviously, but I feel like this one just feels like it's taking a little bit longer.
That's fair. Well, do you want to save American Family for next time we do This Week on the Couch,
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
we can go to Kristen's corner. Ding, ding, ding. And you can talk about like your specific shows, because we got some other stuff that we want to add on, but
We can save it.
Yes, okay. That's fine. Well, then we're done.
Yeah.
Save Dr. Odyssey. That is my mission
That is
now.
the PSA of the show.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. If you listen to this or both or one or the other or however it works, this is the first crossover episode of This Week at the Movies and This Week on the Couch. Might be the last, but
We'll see.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where the wind takes us. We'll see what the writing looks like and if we're going to get canceled or not.
Yeah. Got to do Kristen's reality corner next time.
Yeah. Reality roundup and Kristen's corner. You can
Yeah.
do that like essentially on your own, and I'm just here to guide you
Okay.
because I don't watch any of it.
You
know,
should.
I watched some of the recent season of Love Is Blind. We could have done that.
Oh man.
But it's like I feel like the show is
it's awful.
Yeah, so I'm like I don't want to watch it to begin with just to talk about it.
I think you should get on either the Housewives, the Valley, or the Summer House train.
God.
Maybe the Valley because it's shorter. I mean, it ties into Vanderpump Rules, which is different because they're recasting that. I don't know. You got to get into one of those. But the Housewives reunions, the 3-part drama was just ridiculous.
We were just talking about this earlier today that like while I've had trauma in my life, drama has not been the thing. So maybe that's why I'm not like I don't need it.
I mean, I don't need it even having trauma in my life, but I find it entertaining. I think because of these shows, like there's so much overlap.
Yeah.
Like I'm not watching all the other shows, you know what I mean? But a lot of the people highlighted in the few that I do watch are all kind of connected personally in other ways. So it makes it a little bit easier to watch just like the smaller amount of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's a bunch. I mean, like obviously Big Brother, Survivor, all those other reality shows.
Yeah, I gave up on Big Brother a long time ago. I never got into Survivor.
I saw that there was UK Celebrity Big Brother with like JoJo Siwa and Mickey Rourke fighting. And
Oh
I
yeah,
was
and
like,
he got kicked off, as he should.
Yeah.
He's pretty abusive. Yeah.
See, I saw that.
Good. I didn't watch it, but I just saw the information because
Yeah.
then someone else came out about about his abuse after that.
Yeah. Whatever.
On that note, though, but like
on that note, it's time to make dinner.
it is. I think because Beverly Hills Housewives connects to Vanderpump Rules, which now connects to the Valley, which connected to Summer House first before the Valley started. They're just like they're all intertwined. It just makes it easy to follow.
Yeah. Reality TV incest.
Yeah, it was very incestual.
Yeah.
And the Valley, it's like they're all in our neighborhood. And I think I know where a couple of the houses are.
Ooh.
So, and they go to spots that we see all the time. So it's just relatable.
At least that I could be like, hey, that's a place I know.
Yeah. Like we drive by Jax's all the time on Ventura Boulevard. Not that I want to necessarily patron there. Is that the word? But it's still like 5 minutes from us.
Interesting. All right. Just a mouthful of peanut butter makes the medicine go down.
Yeah, let's do it.
This Week at the Movies meets This Week on the Couch. So you're going to hear this both on the Shice podcast and right here at Hers, His, and Ours. It's going to be on both shows. Little integration, a little handshake action.
Little sharing is caring.
Yeah. I mean, Hers, His, and Ours was sort of born from This Week on the Couch. Excuse me, This Week at the Movies. See, look, they're one and the same.
They're already intertwined.
They're one and the same. But yes, that show spun off of us doing This Week at the Movies. And we're a couple episodes deep into our prep for the next batch of Brothers and Sisters episodes, which we should be able to record and release tomorrow. And that's episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll get us through a mid-season cliffhanger from that season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, there might be a few more before we have the mid-season.
Well, it was a part 1 of 2.
Yeah, I think this was, I'll have to double check the air dates. I think the part 1 already was before like Thanksgiving break.
Mm-hmm.
This used to be when they would take a couple weeks off for Thanksgiving and then come back before Christmas, and then they would take off pretty much Christmas through New Year's and then come back. Remember when February sweeps existed? Now the shows just don't come back until March. So I think it's one of those first breaks.
Well, nonetheless, it's interesting to see a part 1 of 2 episode already in a season 1 of a show that's only a handful of episodes in, but contextually, I understand it.
I feel like that was actually the norm back in the day.
Back in the day. Do you want to do movies?
Sure, because I only saw 2, right?
We did, and that was over the course of the last 2 weeks. My lack of movie watching.
I mean, you've been watching movies at home, though.
Not that many. I looked and I watched a couple to prep for the show, but it's been kind of quiet in terms of new movies.
Because it's all about the TV shows.
All TV and no movies makes Nick a dull boy.
You're fine. Don't be dramatic.
It's a quote from The Shining. Or
I know.
It's a paraphrasing from The Shining. Don't paraphrase me, bro.
Don't paraphrase The Shining of all movies.
So I guess we'll start with Ballad of Wallis Island. The Ballad of Wallis Island. And then maybe I'll rearrange it and we'll do the TV show stuff first on the other episode. If I can edit it, if I want to edit it. But then I'm going to have to take out this little part where I'm talking about the magic of post-production.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not.
Don't give the spoilers away.
We'll look behind the curtain. It's a messy office in here, but I get it done.
The behind-the-scenes secrets.
Yeah. Not that many secrets. It's just hard work. Just work. Lots of work. But Ballad of Wallis Island, not so much work. That was leisure. It was one that we both wanted to see, which was nice. And we saw it at the end of a run of seeing some
bad movies.
Some movies that I didn't really like.
Nor did I.
Some movies that we didn't like. So it was nice to go see a movie that we liked.
Yep. It was the redemption pick after Death of a Unicorn, I think.
Yes, correct. Death of a Unicorn was yours. Ballad of Wallis Island was yours. And I think you told me right before the movie started when we were in the theater, this one better be good.
Yeah.
And I said, well, this one is also your pick.
I know. I mean, I wasn't doubting that it wasn't, or I wasn't doubting that it was going to be good, but I just lost a little bit of hope for a little while. I didn't think this was going to be bad. I thought maybe I would be a little bored potentially, but I was pleasantly surprised. This movie was fantastic and pulled at all the heartstrings, and the music was amazing. The actors were incredible. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about this movie.
Oh, well, that's good.
It was beautifully shot.
I would listen to a full McGuire and Mortimer album.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would go to a concert.
Yeah.
We should download the soundtrack.
Yeah, I can do that. Can't play it here without getting in trouble for
it.
But yeah, The Ballad of Wallis Island was adapted from a short film, if I'm not mistaken. And
was that a true story?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But all the people that were involved in the short, I think, came over to work on this. And it has a 78 Metascore, a 7.8 IMDb score. So
wow.
Definitely solid. Tim Key, who plays Charles, and Tom Basden, who plays Herb. So basically, the two main characters are the co-writers.
Oh, that's right. Didn't they also produce or direct?
Not directed, but probably produced.
Okay.
So you can see the chemistry and like the writing partnership between them.
And the heart.
Yeah, exactly. And I said I didn't want to take away from what Tom Basden and like Carey Mulligan brought to the film, but I felt like Tim Key was just so good that he sort of makes the movie. I think you had mentioned like you just wanted to give him a hug or something like that. You just want to be
Yeah.
his friend.
I want to be
And
his pen pal or something.
yeah. I mean, you could. Tim, if you're listening to this and you're looking for some pen pals, you can email me at nick@thesheist.com. I'll make sure Christen sees it. I got to get you set up with your own email.
Yeah. Become a fish.
A fish. We're email official. We already share an email for like family stuff.
I know, but I should have my own podcast email under the Scheist Podcast Network.
You should. If you want to email hers, his, and ours. Hers, his, ours. I don't even remember what that email is.
It's at the end of the episode.
It is. It's all. I think it's hers, his, ours.
Pod.
No, maybe.
Anyways.
Anyway, we'll cover those bases when we get there. But yeah, this movie made me feel good and feel shitty, but like made me feel shitty in a way that was only because I felt good. That makes sense. Like it's the story not necessarily of a breakup or of a loss of a relationship, but that is intertwined. And it's really the story, I guess, of like healing the loss of that and
grief.
Yeah, so you have sort of these two parallel stories. One of this band that were dating or married or something at one point and making albums, and then you have this guy who was a fan, and him and his wife were actually big fans, but his wife has passed on, and he is trying to sort of reconcile the loss of her by celebrating getting the band back together. So there is this weird sort of cyclical symbiotic healing that is taking place throughout the film, and it's very well written and very well performed.
Yeah, I also liked that reveal of the wife did not happen very early on. So you kind of just fall in love with the journey and him just being the fan. And then it's kind of a punch in the gut to be like, oh my God, there's another layer to this for this guy. A good and bad punch to the gut.
I mean, there's some hints that are laid out there throughout the course of the film. I think he mentions her by name without saying that she has passed a few times. And there's a picture of her somewhere. And so the context clues are there, but you don't know exactly what happened. I was sort of expecting it to be that she died. So by the time that he said it, I wasn't shocked by that. But he mentions it in a way that it's been 5 years, and it's more or less it is the anniversary.
The day after.
He schedules a private concert with his favorite band that he has paid an exorbitant amount of money to come to this small island and perform for him in a private concert. And a lot of that is under the guise of something else. And so there's a little bit of shenanigans, some hijinks, a little pulling the wool over your eyes, but voluntarily. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's very cathartic, and I felt healed a little bit seeing it, especially cinematically, knowing that we had seen some bigger budget, higher profile stuff that just didn't feed me spiritually in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well.
I did wish a little bit Carey Mulligan was in it more, but I understand why she wasn't by the end of it. Just because I think they had such great chemistry. Like,
She's the biggest name, so I'm sure that getting her on board helped with things like financing. And yeah, I'm cheering for it too, to some extent. I'm cheering for her, I'm cheering for them. But I think realizing that it's something that can't be, and with good reason,
and it wasn't their story.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? Like, their story was sort of an allegory for what was going on with Charles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Charles had lost this person that he can never get back.
And he's just so dedicated to, like, you guys need to be back together because you can be.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah.
trying to heal his own wound through that, and maybe that's not, the right way to do it for him, and I think he realizes that too by the end.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah,
I'd watch it again.
very sweet. Just a good movie. I think, even though I'm very far behind in my sort of website end of year list type of stuff, looking ahead to 2025 at the end of this cinematic year, this would probably be the high watermark for me in terms of like the feel good movie
Mm-hmm.
of the year. So we'll see what else happens down the line, but maybe I'll use May when I have a little bit of downtime to really be like, hey, so here's the awards that were due months ago.
Yeah. If you want to.
Yeah, I think I should. I don't want to give it up. It's going to be the 8th Scheist Awards. I don't want to just wave goodbye to it just yet.
Okay.
So that's coming. And then we saw Sinners.
We sure did.
You say that with a tone of something.
No.
Melancholy?
No. I liked it. It was good.
It was very good.
I think I was a little surprised considering it was so advertised as IMAX and you were looking for the 70 millimeter IMAX showings and they were all sold out, to find that it wasn't actually in IMAX the whole time. It was kind of just weird.
Yeah, and I read a little bit about that, and I think it's potentially that the 70 millimeter IMAX screening has some more full IMAX shots. Could be wrong, but like I read this thing at a glance and it said, I was reading sort of like where each one is playing, what the differences are. And so just the way I read one of the sentences made me think that, oh, maybe if you have the 70 millimeter film projector, there's more. And it wasn't like completely sold out, but I did not want to sit in the front like 5 rows.
I never want to sit in the front 5 rows. I've done it before and I regret it every time.
I mean, the good news is that the 70 millimeter IMAX showtimes are basically all full. And it makes it exceedingly difficult to ever go see anything in 70 millimeter IMAX at City Walk, because I've broken the habit of buying tickets like months in advance. So now I just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get a good ticket positionally in that theater if I don't do that. So it's like, I'm just away from big releases in that way. It used to be like, oh, the new big movie is coming out. I want to make sure that I see it on opening night and I want to see this. And so we're going to book in advance. And I even thought about it for this movie and I was like, I don't know that it's going to have the crazy kind of Oppenheimer type of sellout or I think they re-released, maybe it was Interstellar in 70 millimeter IMAX.
I don't know if it was 70 millimeter, but it was IMAX.
Well, yeah, we saw the digital IMAX, and we did that for this too. And so it still looks great. I would like to probably see it again. Maybe, I know the Vista's playing it in 70 millimeter if I want to venture out there. Or if there's a time where you don't want to go and I can find a single ticket somewhere where I'm not going to need a chiropractor after the screening, then I'll do it. But I mean, the full screen shots are great given the opportunity. I was probably a little surprised too by how much of it was not shot that way. But again, it might have been shot that way and we're not seeing it because we do get a very important scene in the film that is shot widescreen and then it
Expands.
dissolves to IMAX. So the capability to letterbox and IMAX shot are obviously there. And I don't have the like the celluloid knowledge to know exactly what the plan was, but it would make for an interesting experience to have sort of different viewing experiences which with each of the types of screening that you go to see. Um, but it shows that obviously Ryan Coogler is a very talented director, which we already knew. Um, I think it's probably his best work. Fruitvale Station is the one that still probably was my favorite of his. He got nominated for Best Picture for Black Panther. You know, Wakanda Forever was a year or two ago. Um, Creed. I like the Creed franchise. I like all those movies. But in terms of, I think, making a movie that operates outside of the confines of something else and just being able to like do a thing that he wanted to do. Like it doesn't have to adhere to any playbook that the MCU is giving him. I like the Black Panther movies. Not saying that, you know, those aren't good films of his, but even with Creed, you're like using the Rocky playbook to just make a movie and make it your own in that way, but it's not your own in the way that it's your own when you're starting from scratch. So I feel like this was like the culmination of his filmmaking journey so far to have gone through Fruitvale and the MCU and the Creed franchise to end up here to really make a gigantic, expansive story that didn't even need vampires. Like he had a really good drama going with just these two brothers and what they did in Chicago and sort of the looming disaster that was awaiting them regardless of this other thing. And then he folds in the vampires as a metaphor, but also uses that to really punch up some interesting horror imagery. And so he's really like doing a lot with this movie. And I think that's what I'm happiest to see is that it wasn't any sort of like singular thing where like when I turn on Creed, like I know what Creed's gonna be for the most part. He does a great job with it, but I know what it's gonna be. When I watch Black Panther or Wakanda Forever, like I had a pretty good read on like what those were going to be. And with this, I wasn't trying to really get a read on it. I knew that he was doing this. I saw Michael B. Jordan was in the lead. I know they work well together. I was just interested to see what he was gonna do post MCU. And I feel like he delivered on all the fronts that I would have wanted from him as a filmmaker. I feel like my cinematic cup was very full.
Yeah.
Full of blood, but full.
So much blood. I think it was also interesting. I don't think I remember from the trailers or realized or maybe hadn't seen one recent enough either that Michael B. Jordan was a twin in the movie.
I'm a sucker for dual
Mhm.
roles, and while this may not be like the takeaway from Sinners, um, I feel like it's one of the most technically proficient uses of an actor playing a dual role that I've ever seen.
I don't know how they did it.
It was
It was insane.
Yeah, it was really good. And I mean, like I'm talking about like Jackie Chan has done this. Like Arnold did it kind of in Last Action Hero for like a minute, right? Michael Keaton, Multiplicity. I just talked about Jet Li doing this in The One.
Robert Pattinson and
Robert Pattinson just did it in Mickey
Mickey
17.
17.
So it's like I have a soft spot for actors doing that in general. So I was already interested in just seeing like how are you going to do the nuances between the two different characters and what is that going to look like and how do you technically pull that off? Um And I saw a quote today where someone was like, I'm really happy knowing that there's kids out there watching Sinners that are going to grow up believing Michael B. Jordan has a twin the way that I thought Lindsay Lohan did.
In Freaky Friday.
No, Parent Trap.
Parent Trap.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's that good.
Yeah. I feel like it's even better than that. Like the artistry component around, without saying too much, I just like even just the one scene of putting the arm around each other. I'm like, how did they do that? It doesn't even look like two separate shots. It's insanity.
Yeah. I mean, you got to probably rehearse and do the blocking a lot. You have the double obviously dressed in the same clothes, and then you just shoot the scene. You're like, don't move, bring in the other guy, swap it, shoot the scene both ways. That kind of stuff is editing, it's positioning, it's practice. The scenes where they're like standing next to each other though,
Mhm.
I don't see it on the face. Like I don't see the digital wiggle
Yeah.
that I've seen in a lot of other movies where that happens, where you can tell that it's superimposed. And Joshua Jackson
I know.
just did this on Dr.
I know.
Odyssey, and you can see it there, though. It's
Yeah.
pretty good still for a TV show, but there's a time where they're facing each other, and I can tell which one was the real Josh Jackson
Yeah.
in that scene. So in this, like, I couldn't tell. So just like as a sort of movie nerd that loves this one specific thing about movies,
Yeah.
it was such a technically proficient job of doubling.
Especially when it came to some of the like fight scenes.
Yeah.
I feel like the shot was so close that maybe in a split second, if I watched it again, I could probably see it. But even with the shots being so close, I was just like, holy cow. I was almost like, is Michael B. Jordan a twin? Do we really have two Michael B. Jordans? Michael A. Jordan, Michael B. Jordan? Like, there's two of them?
Yeah, and I mean, I think like that's just the tip of the iceberg with how densely layered that movie is in terms of just all of it. Like it looks great, the music is great, performances are great, the idea is like wild and intense in a way that I love. And then the actual attention to detail in the history that's being told is on point as well. So it's just a movie that's doing so much so well together. And I don't have a problem with the runtime. Like I said, I don't think the vampire side of things necessarily even needed to be in it, because it's almost like there's trailers where you could cut it and make it look like it's uh, a straight up like horror film, which there's moments where it definitely gets into that territory, but I wouldn't say that that is the sort of primary garment that this film wears.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the trailers did that either. Again, it's been a while since I've seen the trailers, but you know me, I'm always like, I want an hour and a half, maybe hour 45 minute, and I didn't even feel like this was over 2 hours, and I was like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, the drama aspect of it was well paced and solid.
I didn't feel like there was any fluff or filler time, like they were just trying to drag things out.
No, it was very economical filmmaking. That's what I'm saying. Like as just like as an overall like film journey, it did a lot of the things that I like, and I like to say that I appreciate well balanced films. You know, we've had this discussion on the show before, like narrowly focused versus like broadly balanced.
Mhm.
And when you can be broadly balanced, but you're still achieving at a high watermark across all of that, that's for me the sign of like a really exceptionally made film. And this was one of those for me. It's super rare lately that I will watch a movie and immediately be like, I want to watch that again. It doesn't happen that much, but this was like, as soon as it was over, I was like, yeah, maybe I won't see it in IMAX again, or I don't know, maybe I will, but I'm gonna see it again, especially if I'm just like, the other options aren't that great. I looked and I was trying to find showtimes for Tuesday for stuff that I wanted to see, and I would say 6 to 7 movies that I wanted to see are already gone from the theater, so I couldn't see those anyway. And then it's like there's 2 that I could see by myself while you were occupied.
Mm-hmm.
So it really like narrows my options down. The Jason Statham one I wanted to see, it's like it's only playing at 10 o'clock at night, so that's already like relegated to
Wow.
I'm not going to be watching that basically. But I mean, I can wait for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sinners was great.
Yeah. And I mean, I love Haley Steinfeld, and I was happy to see her get out of the young teeny bopper kind of pigeonhole box that they had put her in for so long. While I love her in those movies, it was nice to see her get to really flex her acting skills, and she was very, very good.
Yeah, the difference between this and where I left off with her in Hawkeye is miles apart. So,
Yeah, I mean,
credit to her.
I love her from Pitch Perfect 3, but it's still miles apart.
Yeah, I mean, even then she's playing what a collegiate.
College,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think she's in college in Hawkeye, but the characterization they give her is that of like maybe like a 15 or 16-year-old.
I think she was too, wasn't it Bumblebee?
She was good in Bumblebee.
Yeah,
I
but it
like
was
that
still
one.
like a younger character.
It was, yeah. I think maybe senior in high school or something like
Yeah.
that. Because I know she has a Pamela Adlon plays her mom in that, and so there's still like the parent being like, "Oh no, you're getting in trouble." So she's of that age.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this was a huge departure from what I've seen from her at least, and she was really good in it. So,
I'm curious how she got this.
well,
I haven't seen any interviews about it.
yeah. I mean, just selectiveness is probably helping her. Like if she wanted a role that would put the kind of the Disney princess stuff in the dirt a little bit, like this is the kind of role that could do it and did do it. But yeah, I haven't read anything specifically about how she got attached, but oddly enough, I was joking with somebody earlier today that was saying that David Zaslav, so and so, is a fan of actors playing double roles. And I was like, look, I have a weakness for this as well, but I also think that Zaslav just does it because he's saving money. You're not paying Michael Jordan twice,
Mm.
So.
Is he not being paid more, though, for doing the extra work?
I would assume so, but I don't know how much more. Like, can you double the salary? I'm not in on the negotiations for that.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, though, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, I mean that little like wrinkle of cinema history where you're gonna do that. Like we're gonna do twins. Christian Bale does it in The Prestige. You have to commit to. We have to like work around this in the filmmaking, so the film's going to take longer because we need to shoot scenes twice. At minimum, we need to shoot both sides of the scene.
It's kind of interesting if you think about it too, because from like some of the younger, I mean, this is a labor law thing, but like with the kid actor component of things, usually they use twins playing one character. So it's the opposite, not from a saving money standpoint, but from a we can't let them work too much standpoint. So it's interesting for the adults. They flip the script essentially and do it the other way around.
You're a consenting adult. You're working all day long. But a labor of love in this. And, I'm really glad to see Delroy Lindo getting his flowers for this because I feel like he really should have gotten the attention he's getting now for when he was in Da 5 Bloods, the Netflix Spike Lee movie, which I thought that movie was great, largely because of him. But his performance in that was so good that getting to hear so many people sort of reappreciating him in that light is awesome.
Yeah, and the one thing we have to talk about is Sammy. I can't remember his name. Something Canton. I think this was an introductory role for him, but oh my gosh, the voice.
Miles Canton,
thank you. The voice on him was insane. I was like, is that really coming out of him?
Yeah, well, when you're making a movie about music or where music plays this central role and it's supposed to be this sort of transcendental thing, and then the music in the movie doesn't deliver, it's always difficult, right? Like I've seen it happen too in movies and stories about stand-up comics where they show them do stand-up comedy and it's like not good at all. And it's like this person's supposed to be a great comedian and the show is maybe funny, but the stand-up itself doesn't actually function well. So I think similarly with music, like when you can have good music and then have the story to surround it, you still have to deliver on the promise of this musical experience that's going to like be bigger than the movie almost, right? And in this way we get it. The first time he sings in the car is like, wow. Because we don't see him talk in the opening scene that he's in. He goes up to the church and
Because that's
it's a
flash forward,
It is.
technically.
Well, it's the present, and then we're flashing
back
to the story. But there's no dialogue. So the first time you hear him speak is a little bit like later on, and then when you hear him sing, it's like he's got the voice of like a 50-year-old blues musician, right?
Yeah.
Coming out of this young man, and the scene in the car with him and Michael B. Jordan, where Michael B. is just flipping out because like, I can't believe what I'm hearing right now, is fantastic, and it makes the moment later in the film, which is probably like the scene of the movie where he plays in front of the crowd in the juke joint. That's like an incredible scene that will be talked about a lot. It's already being talked about a lot, but it's an amazing piece of filmmaking in there. And
it's got to have Oscar buzz.
Yeah, I mean, it's early, but right now I think it would be fair to say that this is the front runner in a lot of different categories for the Oscars. Like if we're just speculating, you could do picture, director, actor, supporting, original score, best original song. Like if the Oscars were in the next week, right, this would be most likely the favorite to win a bunch of those. So
does Michael B. Jordan get nominated for actor and supporting actor?
No, he would just be nominated for
one.
The leads, plural, yeah.
They would say it as leads?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think the character of the twins is like they are the lead character for the most part. I mean, technically Sammy is too, is like his character arc is like growing throughout the course of the film. He's becoming more important. So you could maybe do that. If you put Michael B. in supporting, I think it would just feel weird because it's like he's on the poster. He's the top billed guy in the project. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
No, he's lead.
Yeah. It would be Delroy Lindo and Miles Cadden would be the two. And then the actresses too, like coin toss between all of them for who you want to be best supporting. So, you know, I can see why this is such a big thing, why everybody's talking about it, because like it's that good and it's just that enjoyable of a movie going experience, right?
I know. I feel like both of these movies we saw were really good redemption movies for the beginning part of the year.
Yeah, and I'm about to fucking see some crap probably by myself.
Probably.
But yeah, that's all that we saw this week. And what's coming out is, what came out that we missed last week was The Amateur, which I want to see with Rami Malek, who I went to high school with, lived in my neighborhood growing up.
You went to high school with him?
Yeah, we weren't in the same grade, but he went to my high school.
Like way ahead of you or behind you?
No, I think he's younger.
But like at the same time, or you graduated and he came?
I think the same time.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, he was on Arrested Development at the time, and I remember running into him at AMPM once, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "What's he doing here?" It's like, so he obviously just like lived in the neighborhood. Drop, which we'll see, but I'm in for
lower priority.
Oh yes, well, also just like lower expectations on that. Warfare. was the movie the week before Sinners that everybody was talking about, and how like violent and brutal it is. But still want to see that. Sacramento came out, which we're going to see
So excited for
on
that one.
Tuesday. I've heard good things about that as well. Then this week we've got Pride and Prejudice re-releasing, The Wedding Banquet, and then from this weekend was Legend of Ochi and the Shrouds, which is David Cronenberg's new one. So there's some good stuff that's not showing anywhere where I can see it. So, oh well. Cool. Well, take care, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one of both versions of the show, I hope, separately, and then maybe we'll cross back over at some point.
Excellent.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Hers, His, and Ours. We'd love for you to continue on this journey with us. The easiest way to do that is to like and subscribe to the show on the podcast platform of your choice. Follow our socials at Hers, His, Ours, spelled like time, on Instagram and X. To keep tabs on this show and others in the Shice Podcast Network, follow at ShicePodNet on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X.